Hello, and welcome to the 136th episode of the But I'm Knitting podcast. My name is Ramona. I'm a knitter from Toronto, and welcome to my corner of the crafting world. So, this is weird for me because I'm recording it on a Sunday because I'm trying something out. So, we'll see whether or not this method works for me or the other method that I tried will work for me. Or I might just try to do an amalgamation of both. You'll just have to see. So today I do not have any finished objects, but I do have a half finished object. So that's progress. And I've got 2 works in progress. Absolutely no cast-ons because I refuse to do it, even though there's some stuff I wanted to cast on. And then I have some stash enhancements. Kind of. One of them I would consider a stash enhancement. 2 of them I would consider tools. Let's go with that. So let's get started. So for my half finished object, I finished one of my socks for the Uphill Downhill Socks by Lisa K. Ross. So this is, I haven't sewn in any ends, so I have this long thing that I've got to put in. And here it is. The stitch definition came out really nicely. So the yarn that I'm using for this one is from the Knitting Loft in the boot space, and the colorway is called Meadows. What I'm using for the heel cuffs and toes, I got from Polka Dot Creek last year, and I think the colorway was called Coffee Shop, I believe. So they recommended in the pattern to use contrasting heel cuffs and toes, and I thought this went with it perfectly. Now let me show you this without the sock blocker on, because it looks so much cooler, in my personal opinion. So if you look at it like this, you can see all of it's all going in this direction, right? Cool. When you get down to the foot though, it starts going in the opposite direction. I think that's really cool. So the second foot that I did start, let me take that out. I started this, I think, on Thursday. Yeah, because I finished this by Wednesday. I got myself ahead of the game. So I believe the other foot, it goes in the opposite direction. Yeah, it goes this way. So there's a left foot and a right foot, and I think I'm starting the right foot. I believe that's what I did. So this is it so far. I've only made it about 15 rows into the leg. I still have to put in, I didn't schedule out what I'm trying to work on this week. I haven't done that yet, but I'm pretty certain I'm ahead, because I wasn't supposed to start the cuff until maybe today or tomorrow. So I'm ahead. But I like the way that it's turning out. I think it's turning out quite nicely. It's kind of doesn't require much concentration. I've actually gotten up and I've been working on it almost every morning before I actually start work. This was my morning project. So that's it so far. I'm only doing the pattern on the front of the sock, not the back. It's faster. It's what I felt like I wanted to do, and it worked out well. Oh, the other thing that I didn't realize, because usually I do 20 rows of ribbing for the cuff, 60 rows for the leg, 65 for the foot. Works out perfectly. However, it wasn't until I was maybe about halfway down with the leg, I'm looking at the needles, I'm like, these look a bit thicker than usual. I may have told the story last week, I don't remember. So I went and but I continued going. I didn't really think much of it. And at one point, I think when I was about to put in the heel, I looked at my needle, and yes, I did tell the story last week because I was talking about reading the etching on the side. So this is a 1 US. And then all that information promptly fell out of my head. And so here I am working, thinking, oh, I got to do 11 repeats on the foot to make it, about 65 stitches, 65 rows. Only to realize that, hold on a second, my gauge is going to be different on this. Let me try the sock on. I was like right at 60. Yeah, I stopped the sock. So I tried the sock on. It actually fits very nicely. So I don't have as much work to do on the leg, so on the foot for these ones, as I usually do, because I didn't read the label on the needles. That's probably it. My next project, my next work in progress. I worked a little bit, and by a little bit, I really do mean a little bit, on my shawlography. I'm nowhere close to finished. It just didn't hold my interest. I just realized what else I have to pick up. I'll do that after. It just didn't really hold my interest because I wanted to work on other things. Where is it? So I added on two color blocks. That's it. Is this the right way or is this the wrong side? Hold on. No, no, that's the right way. That's the right way. Yeah, I've only added 2 onto there. This is the Shellography by Stephen West. I don't feel a big rush to it because it's because I've got other stuff that I'm working on that I don't really care as much. So I know eventually I'll get it done because I want my needles free, but there's no major rush for it. It's still coming along. It still looks really nice and I still do want to work on it, just not really right now. So only reason I brought it out is because I'm there like, hold on, I did do something on it. I have to actually show that. So that's the progress that I made on there. We will fight with that later. Let me go grab one more. Okay. Forgot. And then I didn't realize it until I was working on this that I forgot to pick this up. So, I can't be surprised by that. I'm always in the middle of a row. And here we go. Okay. Guess what, peoples? I've split for the sleeves and made progress past that. Here is my wool and honey sweater. It's kind of, hold on. I think you'd have to hold it like that. I don't know. Here it is so far. I've split the sleeves. I'm working on it, going down. Last time you had seen, okay, I'm holding it upside down now. Last time you had seen, last time you had seen, I was about here. And now I've made it this far. This is what I've been working on while I'm in the middle of going through my training for my job. So this is all for like, okay, they're talking, they have a guest lecture on where you don't have to actually take notes. I'd pick this up and I'd work on it. So I put in some progress on it. It looks really good so far. And I'm looking forward to being able to wear it at a later point. I think I'm still definitely going to do the long sleeve. I was contemplating whether or not to shorten the sleeve because I do like shorter sleeves sometimes. But I think I'm going to leave this one as a full length. Or maybe as I work on it, I'll decide then. Yeah, that might be it. But I do like the way that it's turning out. So for this one, the yarn that I'm using is from Retrosaria Mondim in the colorway 117. I actually had to start the 3rd ball for this project. So nice and full. I finished the other one off this week while training. Yeah. For my sleeve holders, I don't have the fancy Barber ones. I have the clover leaf stitch sleeve holders. That's what I have. I have like 2 sets of these. Works just fine for me. Let's put you away. All right, last project to show off. This one has got me so, oopsie, that was a sock blocker. This one has got me so happy. I've made a good amount of progress on this. I'm very proud of the progress that I've done. And I guess it's I'm starting to see it. I'm really starting to see it. Even this week, I had reached to one point. This is my C6 sweater by Helga Isager. I had done a spreadsheet for it, and I had only done it up to a certain point. And afterwards, I was kind of confused. Like, I didn't know where to go with it. So at one point, when I know I'm supposed to be going to bed for 10:30, try and tell me why at 11 o'clock, I think it was maybe 11 o'clock, 11:15, I just finished figuring out a good chunk of the pattern in order to put it through. Like, as I read it, I'm like, oh, that means you just put in this. Oh, that means I just put in this. So all I had to do was just fix things on my spreadsheet to make it understandable for myself. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got this. I know exactly what I'm doing. And I can really see it. So let me actually show you. So my C6 sweater by Helga Isager, when you had last seen it, just do it like that. When you had last seen it, I was only about there. You know, not too much. Now, I have, hold on, I have to put my fingers at the end so that it doesn't slide off. I have all of that done. See how much it's grown? So if you want a better visual for it, because I've done this before, I just got to make sure I hold it so nothing slides off the needle. here's how it's going. So for this sweater, we start off at the sleeve. So this is a sleeve, right? So when I'm finished, I'm going to be seaming these together. And then afterwards, as we get to this point, I cast it on more stitches so that you can go down this way. See, so this part here is the beginning of the body. Soon, within a few repeats, I should be splitting for the neck according to the pattern. And then once I get that done, then we do the back part, we do the front part. Then we join it back together on the other side of the neck. And then we do basically this half and opposite going down this way. Yes, that is how the pattern is supposed to work. So I've got everything up until the sleeve over here. I've got that all done as to what I'm supposed to do. So I'm really, really excited about that. This week I also had to, yesterday, I had to wind my second ball of boots, of the Knitting Loft boots in the colorway Honey. I had to wind this one off because I pretty much used up everything for that first skein. I'm not certain whether or not I'm going to need a third one of this. I have it on my list because I'm not even halfway through and I finished the first ball. So I'm pretty certain I'm going to need the second one. I might be okay with the mohair still, which is the dust base in the colorway Honey, same color, because I still have all of this and I'm not halfway through yet. So I guess I will decide once I make it to the once I finish the back, if I don't need to start with a second skein, we'll have to see. I probably will have, because I still have the other one I got to wind up, and I'm thinking that will be enough for the entire sweater, and I shouldn't need to buy more. But I definitely will need a third one for the main color. And then, of course, I've got more than enough for my contrast color. This is going to go on the end of the other sleeve and around the waistband for the other one. So I am looking forward to that. I feel like I'm making such good progress on it when I'm ready to pick it up. I didn't keep up with my schedule because I didn't realize how much longer it takes to do this. So before I was doing, like 4 repeats a day. I was also not working. And it was much shorter. But honestly, last week once I started working, I think I managed to get 2 days where I did the full repeats. And even then I had reduced it down to 3. And right now 3 repeats feel like a lot for the day, considering I still have my socks to work on and I work on my sweater as well. And by the time I finish work, I'm sleepy. I'm still trying to rework my sleep schedule to make sure that it works out. But unfortunately, I'm generally a night owl. And even though I try to go to sleep at a regular time, many nights, I've woken up at like 2:30 in the morning, staring at the wall. And if I'm lucky, maybe by about 5:30, I start to fall back asleep. And then I wake up again not too long later because I actually have to, get myself prepared to work. So I'm working on it. So that is everything for my works in progress. Let me move this out of the way. So now I can get to show off my stash enhancement. So for this one, I tell you, it is dangerous talking to people on Zoom calls where they start telling you about, oh my gosh, I found this great dyer or whatever. So someone told me, I was saying how I needed a really large bag for, to hold a sweater's quantity, because the biggest bags I have might be able to hold a shawl, like a single skein shawl, maybe, if I squish it right. Most of the time it's just for socks, because that's what I knit mostly. So I didn't have anything for a sweater. So I decided to put out a mention for it, and somebody told me about Longview Creations. And I'm like, oh, I've never heard of them. Like, oh, but they're Canadian too. And they're like, really? Okay, let me give it a try. I ended up getting this. Yeah, it is a huge bag. Hold on a second, let me take this out. So it is by, can you see that? Longview Creations. I got the one that was sushi themed or food themed because I don't know why I really like the food themed bags. So this is it. It is huge. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna put up the picture I have with a couple of skeins that I got, and just to put them beside it, just so you can see how big it really is. There are no inside pockets for this one. Zipper is pretty good. Zipper. And afterwards, a really big handle to put your hand through. I've never tried walking with it yet. I've only put, I think, what's it, last week when I went to my dad's, I had maybe about 3 projects. Yeah. It was like a pair of socks. I think I packed shellography. And I packed my C6 sweater. All 3 of them inside of here. And I think I also had a 4th one in my backpack. So I traveled with like 4 projects in total. And it all fit just fine inside there. You know? And it squished down pretty good inside there too. So that was my new closest thing to a stash enhancement that I had for this week. Next. These are more practical and useful things. Because in the Love and Stitches group, they're doing a cable knit along. Most people are doing a hat called the Multnomah. Multnomah Falls hat. I decided I wasn't going to do that because I'd already planned I was going to do the C6 sweater. So no need for that. But then, of course, as you do this, everybody starts talking about, oh, this is how I cabled. This is what I use. Then somebody, I have the one that goes like, if you can follow my finger, this, like that. I don't really like it that much. It irritates and annoys me. Mostly due to the fact that it holds it, but then it wants to slide off. So I've had to jab it back into my work to get to stay, but of course, as soon as I start knitting, it tries to come back out again. So somebody told me about a shepherd's hook one. So I went on Amazon and I got one. This is it. Brand-wise, it's from Susan Bates. So I basically just work on it. Oh, sorry. Hook this in, and it just hangs there. It doesn't move, it doesn't go anywhere. I think it's great. So the only other one that I saw was, is it Flops? I don't know. I'm looking for it. However, the Knitting Loft is sold out of it. Any of the local yarn shops that I had a chance to be around even this week, and I even checked one in Hamilton because I was in Hamilton earlier on today, they don't even carry it. I looked on Amazon, they don't have it at all. I checked on Etsy, they have it, but the shipping costs more than the actual product. Wasn't willing to do that. So I put myself on a notify list for the Knitting Loft, and hopefully they'll get it soon. The other thing that I got was a collapsible sink. See? So I got this because these YouTubers that I watch, they knit and they crochet, but they actually have a tendency to block their stuff. I don't. But I figured if I wanted to block it, this is easier to get it wet in and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to having to go all the way downstairs, and do everything downstairs when I can do most of it in my room. I just have it going. So I got myself a portable sink. So I've got something to work with. That's it. I think that's actually everything for all of my works in progress. I ordered something that hopefully, well, actually I don't know how long it's going to take because I haven't gotten a shipping notification for it yet. So I'm just waiting for, so it's 2 packages I'm expecting. We already got my bag. I got, one of them was a sweatshirt from the Love and Stitches podcast from Natalie's shop. This one, she only had it up until the end of December. I bought it, and it's been sitting in the same place since January 4th. She has her shirts made through Spreadshirt, and I know I've seen other people who bought them, they got theirs. I don't understand why the post is just holding it. It's not moving. It's not like it's at the Canadian border or anything like that, or there are custom fees or anything like that. So it's like, okay, so why has it been sitting in the same place for look how long? Okay, but technically Spreadshirt did say, oh, you know, we have until, it will come like around January 19th. Yeah, but if you finish from January 4th, why just make it sit down there? I don't know. That just feels like it takes forever. And then I also ordered yarn from Moonglow. Yo, it looks gorgeous. It looks pretty. But I don't know if I'm going to do it again. Not because of the yarn. I haven't seen the yarn yet. I've only seen pictures of it. But just to get it here costs so much. Yeah. So it's like one of those one time, yay, I got it. And then we'll see if I ever do it again. Because it's just nuts. It's just nuts. I believe that is everything that I wanted to talk about. Let's see, life-wise. So yeah, I had my first week of work. I have actually little clips of vignettes. I actually that actually works. So I was gonna try doing vlogging. I don't know if I really do. I don't know if I'm good at it. So I'm putting it in, after this. I'll try to keep it sped up, not have it go too long, as to how my work week was. Let's see, what else happened? I just try not to leave my house all week. Temperatures around here, I was seeing, I think yesterday or the day before at some point, it was like -20. I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit. I just know it's very cold. I only had to go outside to go, say, like, get something from the porch and come back in. Other than today, I'm filming this on a Sunday. The third Sunday of the month is the food bank at my church. So my brother and I, let me specify, my oldest brother and I, we went down there for that. That was the most I've gotten out of the house all week. And that's quite fine right now. I don't like winter. So we went there, we volunteered, we helped. My dad ended up being there as well. Got to see one of my my god sister's little sister. She was there as well. Because every time that she's been there, I've never been there. And, with the whole pandemic, I don't see people. So I didn't see her. So it was nice seeing her, catching up with her and how everybody's doing. Trying to think if there's anything else. I got to see my cousin, one of my cousins, last weekend. It was so nice to see her because I think the last time we saw each other was at my grandfather's funeral. And before that was my brother's wedding, was the last time we saw each other. So it was really good to see her, really good to hang out with her. And what's funny is my mother, because I was like down in my room, I didn't realize that she had gone there. And she greeted my mom, and my mom was like, oh my gosh, you and Ramona are so much alike. We didn't grow up together. We just met each other maybe about 3 years ago. 3, maybe 4 years almost. I think it's 3. But apparently we're very similar in person, in attitude, which I think is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, so there was that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, so we had lots of fun hanging out with each other. Went to my dad's house. Oh gosh. Yeah, so last week I was going to my dad's house. While I was there, I was told practice for praise and worship was canceled and that we were just going to come in extra early on Saturday morning to do our practice then. So I said, okay. Called my dad, let him know what was going on. And I said, I'll bus it up to where you live. Just pick me up at the bus station. He's like, no problem. Here's the problem. I ended up discovering not until I was actually almost there. So I always plan my trips, check everything by Google Maps to make sure I catch all the buses when I'm supposed to. So the bus that I caught was going to be one that stopped right in Hamilton. I could go to Starbucks, get my drink and all of that kind of stuff. I was actually leaving a little bit later because I knew you couldn't stay in places very much. And this is with the mind that I was going to be going directly to church afterwards and we had practice. So since that didn't happen, I had to reroute my trip in order to catch the bus that would take me to where my dad lives. And he lives maybe about half an hour away from my church. But it's still like, I would still be heading in the same direction. So I got off my initial bus and I had to sit down and wait for the next bus. I'm expecting, bus will come within 15 to 30 minutes. This is my expectation. When I looked at Google Maps and the bus app, it told me I would have to wait outside for 55 minutes. This bus stop is just on the side of the road, just off of the highway. There's no shelter. There was no Tim Hortons. There was one lone gas station and private houses. The bus that I got off of, I saw the same bus go by 4 times in that hour. my legs were numb. I could barely feel it. My dad even called at one point and asked me if I missed the bus, if I was waiting at the right spot. I'm like, no, Dad, I know I'm waiting at the right spot. I just didn't know the bus only comes once every hour and a half. So by the time, as soon as I got off, as I got on the bus, I called him and let him know the bus is on its way now. When we got off the highway, Dad, the bus is off of the highway. I only had to stand outside there and wait maybe 4 minutes before he arrived. By that point, I managed to defrost. I could start feeling my toes again. I'm just like, yeah. So if I'm going to his house, I'm going from the middle of the day. I'm not going from the evening because that's just nuts. Absolutely nuts. I don't want to go through that again. I still had a great time hanging out with my siblings and all that kind of stuff. That's never an issue. It's just that it's so cold. If it was like, spring or summer or something like that, that would be great. If it wasn't, pandemic times, then I could say like, okay, then fine, I'll just walk somewhere and hang out somewhere and hang and I'll be okay. That wasn't an option either. So it's cold. I don't like cold. And like there was only so much you could really do. Like there's nowhere to escape. So yeah, I don't know. If I had the money at the time, I would have just said, screw it, I'm taking an Uber up to his house. I don't even want to know what that bill would look like. Let's see. Anything else? I think last week we already discussed my niece and her counting abilities. She recognized the letter A. Apparently she's also become a parrot and repeats everything you say. This morning when my brother was trying to run out of the house before she saw him, all because apparently she cries when he leaves. I'd never been aware of this because the only time I ever see that he might leave her is when in the morning when they're both leaving, and say my brother goes to start the car, and if she sees that, and then my sister-in-law is the one who has her or something like that. I'm not awake at those times, so I don't know. So yeah, apparently she doesn't see my brother. She starts to cry. I managed to distract her though and started playing with her when he had gone outside. So it's like he forgot, like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be mourning the loss of daddy, even though he's just outside. So I distracted her. She seemed like she was good. She doesn't really care if I leave, so you're just like, yeah, you're not that important. Let's see, what else? I put together a computer chair, but that's going to be in the vlog that I'm putting up after this. Yep. So that's everything. That is everything for today. Thank you for watching. Glad you spent your time with me, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye. Hello, and welcome to a new try for episode 135 of the Bottom Knitting Podcast. My name is Ramona. I'm a knitter from Toronto, and welcome to my corner of the crafting world. So since this week is going to be my first week of doing things a little bit differently, I thought I'd try a new approach. So daily vlogs, short little clips, and then put them all together at the end, we'll have to see. So right now, I'm on my first day at my new job. So therefore, we're actually on a break for this afternoon. So I thought I'd take the last few minutes that I have just to record what I've been working on. Because since it's been a lot of talking, I've gotten a chance to put in some work. So I'm working on my wool and honey sweater. I am on the body, happily working my way through. I also put in a bit of work on my, I forget what it was called? Uphill Downhill Socks. Yes, by Lisa K. Ross. I put in some work on that. I'm on the foot right now. I will show you that at another time. There's going to be a time when I just, show all the progress for the work, but just showing you what I'm currently working on right now and having fun with doing. Bye. First day of training is done for the day. I exited almost immediately to hurry up and go outside to go grab my chair that I just got because the chair I have is just absolutely horrible. So here it is. It's pretty big. This is it in all of its wonderful pieced glory. I now have to take the time to assemble all of this. So I got something to sit on tomorrow. Okay, so quick jump in for day number 2 of doing this. Yeah, break for the day. This after I went through a power outage and kind of got kicked out of everything, and I had to wait for it to come back. I'm still learning, still doing new things. I'm knitting. I feel like I've made excellent progress on all of my stuff. I still managed to keep up with everything. I just didn't work on shawlography at all. It was my intention to, but I did not. But that's still okay. So right now, just because it's a project that's in my hands, okay, let's hold it up then. I am working on wool and honey, and I've separated for the sleeves, working on the body. It's just knit 1 row, purl 1 row, garter. It's going pretty good. I'll show off my sock later because I'm not really certain how much more time I have, just to make sure I don't go over that. So I got that, and I got my sweater. I'm almost at the point where I'm finished the sleeve, which is pretty good. So that means I'm going to be, because I just expanded up to the main body part. So I'm making progress. And I'm happy about that. So that's it for now. Maybe later on today I'll remember to do something. Most likely not. We'll have to see. Bye for now. All right, so currently it's like just after 9 o'clock on Tuesday evening. I finished work hours ago. I'm currently watching this new show called Naomi on CW. I've been hearing people talk about it online for quite some time, but I've never paid any attention. It looks good. So now I'm just trying to download something from my computer that I apparently need for work tomorrow. And then I'm going to get back to working on my C6. And I promise I will actually put in clips of what I've worked on so far. Okay, so yeah, time for me to be going to my bed, but I did want to make sure I recorded what I had worked on today. Not finished, but worked on today. So let me just show you, and then I'm going to curl up and go to my bed. All right, one moment. Okay, so this is the first thing I worked on, which was my uphill downhill socks, done by Lisa K. Ross. I've made it a good chunk of the way because I just started the foot this weekend. So the pattern looks so cool. I love the way that it's turning out. And there's the heel to show, it's two-sided. So I probably have about another 30-ish rows before I have to put in the toe. So the socks are going to be done by the end of this week. This is the project that I pick up first thing in the morning to work on. After that, let's go to the next thing. This is my woolen honey sweater. I'm actually in the middle of a row right now. So as you can see, I've separated for the sleeves. Right there, you can see that's a sleeve, and that's a sleeve. And so I'm working on the body of it right now, going round and round and round. This doesn't take up as much space as I thought it would for like each row, because I said, okay, I can do like an inch. In stockinette, it looks a lot bigger, so to speak. So this is like really scrunching up on itself. I'm almost finished with this ball, but I have the next one prepared sitting right by my desk so I can get to work on it while they're talking. So this is the Woolen Honey by Andrea Mowry. And the yarn that I'm using is Retrosaria Mondim in the colorway 117. And last project, I'm actually in the middle of a row for this one. I didn't stop it. I didn't even think to do that because I was working on it before. So this is going to be kind of awkward. Okay, so right here, this is my C6 sweater by Helga Isager. So this is me. Last time you had seen it was on Wednesday, last week Wednesday, which was, I was up to there. So now I've made it up to there. Over here, you can barely see it, but there's like these really long strips. That's going down the body on the side. So I am really liking the way that's turning out. I look forward and working on it, but I realize now it takes me much, much longer to do each row. So I'm going to have to readjust my schedule for this thing. But I do love, love, love the way that it's turning out. Oh, the yarn for this one. This one down here is by Julie Asselin in her Journey Sport base in the colorway Petite Pouce. This one is by the Knitting Loft in their two bases. Their Boots base, which is like their sock base, and their mohair base, which I think it's Kid Silk and mohair called Dust, being held together. It feels so soft. It is so nice. I'm loving it. I'm still actually going pretty good with the yarn. I haven't had to wind up the second ball because at one point they said, oh yeah, wind up the second ball so you can get the cast on stitches. I'm like, that's at the end of the row. Why would I do that? So I'm going until these balls are done before I even open up the next ones. And once I'm maybe about seeing how far I'm making it at, that's when I'll decide whether or not I need to buy more to finish the sweater. But considering this has been like, what, week and a half, I think I've done pretty good progress. Yeah. Good night, guys. I'm going to bed. All right, break time again. This is Wednesday morning. So I was debating what to work on. This morning I've already worked on my socks, which I had to mentally resize because the size that I thought I would need, what I usually use for my foot, apparently I don't need it because I accidentally used a bigger needle size. So I'm at the toe a day early. That's great. I started on the toe, well ahead of schedule now. So I worked while they were talking and I didn't have to be physically taking notes. I worked on my Woolen Honey sweater. I added on a few rows for that. But now that I'm on my 15-minute break, I'm like, I was debating as to what to do. So I've determined I am working on my C6 sweater because I did not finish my rows for yesterday. And yeah, during my break and my lunchtime, I'm going to see if I can catch up and get those done before this evening. And we'll see what happens. Good night. Good night. It's not even afternoon. I am so out of it. So I've been trying to go to bed for like, no, sorry, let me start again. I've been trying to go to bed for 10:30 since I started work. That worked fine for the first day and the second day. Third day, okay, maybe 11:30, not as bad. Yesterday, my mind was just like, no, you got to finish charting out what you need to do for the C6 sweater. So while I did make good progress on it, let me just show you where I am right now. I'm still not caught up to where I'm supposed to be because these rows now take me a lot longer. So here it is so far. All right, I can't even show you the full thing because I can't stretch it out completely on my needle, but like, because like this is like the body, so to speak. It's at the full length, so I'm still working my way across it. But now I was wondering, I'm like, hold on, I only had my Excel spreadsheet done up until I don't know, where was I in the pattern? I think it was up until, I only had it written up until the split for the neckline, because it's a side-to-side sweater. I'm like, hold on, what happens when I make it there? I'm not that far from there. So I sat down there at 10:30 at night. It's like pitch black, and only my face is being lit up by my iPad with my Sheets app, with my Google Sheets app open, and having the pattern side by side, working out what to do. So it took a while, but I finally got it. So I've got everything done until I start the other sleeve. So I'm really happy that I got that part done. So yeah. But then looking at the amount of yarn I have left, this is still for like the first set of balls. Like if you look inside there, I still have a good amount of mohair, but I look like I'm almost finished my my other yarn. So I'm definitely gonna have to wind up my other skein soon of my boots base. And if that's the case, and I haven't even made it to halfway, I'm probably gonna have to get a third skein of it. And I'm not too worried about that. It was just the mohair I was kind of concerned about. Because if I get a third skein of this, I could just use the remaining amount for socks or something. So that's still okay. And I probably will end up having a lot of, yeah. Because I've also bought 2 skeins of the green yarn here. Which one? For this section. But I only wound 1. Because it was like, if I looked at the pattern, the yardage was just that little bit, the yardage for this skein is just that little bit too short. So just in case, I want to make sure I had it. But so if I go into the second skein, it'll be only by a very little bit. Probably means I need to figure out what to make with sports weight yarn. I got time. So I still have about 40 minutes until my lunch break is over. So I'm going to either watch YouTube and knit for a bit so I could try to catch up with where I'm supposed to be for this pattern. Or I might, knit for a bit and then fall asleep and then wake up for 1 o'clock. Either way, I'm going to try and get some knitting in. day 5. Where am I going with day 5? It is Friday of the week. Let's see. So for this week, I'm on my last break before we get a special speaker coming in at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to sit down here and knit for a bit. So today, for some strange and absurd reason, I decided to go on Instagram. And because I went on Instagram, I bought yarn. It's going to take a while for it to be here, but I bought yarn. I wasn't planning on it, but I bought yarn. Of course, I'll show it to you once it comes, but I feel like I needed to go through a confession because I was not planning on it. All right, bye for now.